So today I want to talk about when it's time to walk away. I was talking with a client a couple of weeks ago, and he posed a problem that I think is really worth discussing. We've been talking a lot about work-life balance and maintaining wellness at work and the impact of burnout in the US today. So if you're not familiar with it, burnout is now being defined as a psychological syndrome that results from overwork. And there's a couple of key signs. You're not sleeping well, you feel disengaged from what you're doing, you feel cynical about the work, and you're not eating, you're not able to take care of yourself, you're not able to get stuff done because of it. And he was saying to me, one of the options for me is to maybe speak to my manager when I feel burned out, but I don't feel like I'm in a position where that's necessarily a safe thing to do. And the problem is, if I'm in an organization or a workplace that's already costing me and causing burnout, maybe my supervisor isn't going to be the most receptive. And even if that's the case, I don't necessarily want to say that this is the problem that I'm having. No one wants to be the person that has burnout, just like no one wants to be the person that has depression or is going through divorce or has a death in the family, right? We get stuck with these labels. So what do I do? And I had a bit of a think about it. And I think it comes down to one of two things. At the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself. And if you don't, your body is going to take care of you for you. You're going to end up in the hospital if you don't manage your energy and your health effectively at work. So this could go one of two ways. Either you're going to have a blow up or a crash, or you're going to get so sick that you can't work anyway, and then we've got a bigger problem to talk about. People are going to have to cover for you. People are going to have to deal with you as you're getting better. You're going to have that label regardless. It's just for another reason now. And that doesn't sound like a great outcome for you either, right? Not only does it implicate you at work, it also implicates how you're feeling and how you're managing and getting on in your life. So that doesn't sound great. Option two is to try and bring up the problem. Say something, explain that you are feeling stressed, explain that it's becoming too much, that you need to reallocate some tasks, maybe get a little bit of time off, and hopefully the person that you're talking to is receptive to that. But there's a third option, and I think it's the option that we often discount, and it's the one that I really want to draw attention to today. Option three is that you walk away. And I know that this is hard to consider sometimes. It's tempting to say, well, I need the money. I'm not in a position to be able to lose my job or walk out straight away. And I get that. I absolutely get that that is the reality for a lot of people. But I want to spend some time thinking about this a little bit more. Because I think there's a temptation to write off options as if they're not choices. And it's better if you can really sit down with that and decide, is this actually a done for deal, or do I have some choice here? So let's take the first scenario. I can't quit my job because I need the money to be able to pay rent. Well, there's a couple of things that you could do here. You could look into finding another opportunity and move into that so that you're not having to go without money for a couple of weeks. You could also look at downsizing what you're doing right now. Do you really need the space that you're renting? Do you really need to be paying for the things that you're paying for? Are there other ways that you can tighten up so that you have the power to walk away from a situation that isn't helping or serving you? And I know that's a big scary proposition for a lot of people, but I don't know that we're giving that enough credit as a viable option. There are so many things that we can honestly do without. And at the end of the day, if you're choosing to keep paying to live in a certain place, if you're choosing to keep buying the things that you're buying, if you're choosing to keep paying the rents that you're paying rent on, those are choices. And, maybe that makes sense for you at the time, but maybe there's another way. The other option is to say, I'm just gonna take off and find another way to earn some money. I don't need to be in an organization that's gonna treat me like this anymore. There are other ways that I can employ my skills, my talents to support myself and not be reliant on a place that's detrimental to my health. And I get that, again, that's a big jump for a lot of you to consider. It's a big ask to go from getting a stable income and a current paycheck to trying to fend for yourself out there. But it's not something you should necessarily write off. There are ways that you can find to make money, to support yourself, and to not be beholden to somebody else's whims and schedules and routines. So I'm not saying that any of these options are the right option for you, and I'm not saying that any one of these options is the correct default for everybody to pick from. But what I am saying is that it's important to realize when you're making a choice to continue going ahead in an environment that is not serving you and that is detrimental to your health. And I really hope that as we move forwards, we start thinking more about the other options that are on the table. Whether it's cutting your costs or whether it's looking for another way to earn an income, I think trying to stay flexible and open to the options that you have available to you and really taking the time to explore those gives you some power, gives you the ability to say, you know what, this is a shitty situation, but I'm going to put up with it right now while I work on this other thing so that I can eventually move over. Or I don't need to go up the ladder every single time. I can actually make a more lateral move and stay in a similar role. Or hell, I can even demote myself a little bit and take on something with a little less responsibility and a little less pay because I'm not spending as much as I was spending to live the life that I'm living. So that's my suggestion for today, to think really carefully about what else is available to you, to start to think more creatively about what else might be an option, and to reconsider if there are areas of your life that aren't serving you that you're now going to make a choice to start working with. There's so few things in our life that are really locked in and guaranteed. Everything is temporary, and you have far more choices and options than you think.